All right, let's dive into a massive question, shall we? Does God exist?
A question for the ages, right?
It really is. And today we're looking at a debate, two sides going head to head on this very topic.
Exactly. We've got José de Pádua arguing that God is out there.
And on the other side.
Alex Silva taking the atheist perspective.
But here's the twist. Jose is bringing in some unique ideas, drawing inspiration from Reverend Moon's teachings.
Definitely not your average theological debate, that's for sure.
So round by round, let's see how these arguments clash.
Sounds good to me. They kick things off with a big one, the origin of the universe.
Makes sense. Got to start at the beginning, right? What's Jose's take?
He's all about the harmony we see in the universe, the way the laws of physics just work together so perfectly, points to that as evidence for a creator.
The classic fine-tuning argument.
Eh,
Always a mind bender.
you got it. But Jose adds another layer, connecting it to Reverend Moon's teachings.
Oh, tell me more.
Well, Reverend Moon emphasized this idea of God creating humans for a purpose, to be partners with God, building a world full of love and harmony.
So, it's not just that the universe is fine-tuned, but why it's fine-tuned.
Exactly. For Jose, it points to God's desire for that specific relationship with us.
That's a pretty interesting twist on the argument. How does Alex respond to that?
Alex isn't buying it. Says science can explain the harmony we see. Big bang. Just a natural process, no divine hand needed.
So even if the universe seems designed, it could just be billions of years of things playing out.
Precisely. He even challenges the fine-tuning idea itself. Maybe it's just luck. Maybe out of countless universes, we just happen to be in the one that works for life. Probability, not divine intention.
Right off the bat, we've got this clash of worldviews. Divine creation versus the universe just doing its thing and life arising from that. This is getting good. Where do they go next?
Straight into another classic, the problem of evil. And this is where Reverend Moon's influence on Jose's argument really shines through.
Okay, unpack that for me. How does Jose approach the problem of evil?
He says evil is a consequence of free will, which he sees as a gift from God.
So, tying back to that partnership idea.
You got it. Jose's saying true partnership means genuine choice. We have to be able to choose to love God, which means we can also choose not to.
So free will is necessary for a real relationship with God. But it also opens the door to evil. That's a tough one.
No doubt. But Jose's arguing that the possibility of evil doesn't mean God isn't loving. In fact, he says it shows how deep God's love is, being willing to risk evil for that genuine connection with humanity.
Powerful stuff. But I bet Alex has some thoughts on this.
Oh, absolutely. He pushes back hard, asks that classic question, If God is all-powerful and all-loving, why is there so much suffering?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is. And Alex says, look at the world, look at history. The pain is just too much to square with a benevolent God. Even if free will exists, an all-powerful God could still stop the truly horrific stuff. So for Alex, suffering is pointing away from the traditional idea of God.
Wow, the tension is building. So we're back to those contrasting worldviews. Free will is a gift, enabling partnership even with the risk of evil, versus a universe where things just happen, suffering is part of the deal. It brings up so many questions. Like, if evil exists, that mean God doesn't? Or maybe the God isn't good.
And on the flip side, if suffering's just part of life, how do we make sense of it? Where's the meaning? Where's the purpose in a world with so much pain?
This is fascinating. What stands out to you so far?
Honestly, I'm hooked on how Jose is weaving in these ideas from Reverend Moon. It adds a whole other dimension to the debate, And of course, Alex's counter-arguments. They're sharp, making us really wrestle with these tough questions. It's like a battle of ideas.
Totally agree. And I feel like we're just scratching the surface here. Each argument opens up even deeper questions. We've got to keep digging. What's next for these debaters?
Next up, they tackle the soul. Can't have a debate about God without talking about the soul, right?
The soul. So much mystery there.
What's Jose's angle? Reverend Moon probably has something to say about this too, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Jose is arguing the soul is our essence, the real us, immaterial, immortal, connecting us to God. He's pulling directly from Reverend Moon's teachings here, emphasizing the spiritual side of humanity, our eternal link to the divine.
So, like, the soul's the part that keeps going after our bodies are done.
Exactly. And to back this up, he brings up near-death experiences, spiritual accounts, those kinds of things, suggests they offer a glimpse into the soul's reality, beyond the physical world. Says we shouldn't dismiss these accounts just because they're subjective. They might point to something deeper than science can fully grasp right now.
I get that those stories can really make you question the purely physical view of things, but I'm guessing Alex has a different take. You bet. Alex says the soul is a human invention, a way to deal with the fear of death, the unknown. He leans on neuroscience, saying consciousness is just a product of the brain dies, consciousness goes with it.
So, purely scientific view.
Mm.
No soul surviving after death. It's all about those physical processes happening in the brain.
Right. Alex says what we experience as the soul, our sense of self, emotions, thoughts, it's all rooted in the physical matter of the brain. He points to research showing how damage to specific parts of the brain can completely change someone's personality, their sense of self. Argues this shows our consciousness is tied to the physical structure of our brains.
It's incredible what we're learning about the brain, how it creates our whole experience. But I can also see the other side, the idea that there's something more to us than just the physical.
It's complex, no doubt. And this debate about the soul really highlights those contrasting worldviews, faith, spiritual experiences, the belief in an immaterial soul connected to something bigger, versus the scientific perspective, trying to explain consciousness through what we can observe, the physical processes.
Like they're speaking different languages almost, but still wrestling with the same massive questions. The nature of consciousness, what happens after death, what it means to be human, all of that.
Exactly. Shows the limits of what we can understand, doesn't it? We're trying to make sense of these profound mysteries, and we've got different tools, different ways of approaching them.
Makes me wonder, do we even need to pick a side? Can we hold both perspectives, appreciate both scientific inquiry and spiritual exploration?
That's a great question to ask, one a lot of people grapple with, for sure.
Well, before we spiral into an existential crisis, back to the debate.
Yeah.
How does it all wrap up? What happens in the final round?
It really does, doesn't it? Like, however we got here, we all seem to agree that these things, love, justice, truth, they matter.
Makes you think, right? If they both agree those desires are there, where they come from? Is it just evolution, like for survival instincts over thousands of years, hardwired into us?
Or is it something deeper, something spiritual beyond the physical world? That's the question I'm hoping you, dear listener, are going to walk away with. It goes beyond just this debate, makes us confront these huge mysteries about being human.
Totally. Why do we care about fairness, compassion? Why are we always searching for meaning, for purpose? Is it all just biology dressed up in fancy philosophical words? Or is there more? Something pointing to a reality beyond what we can see, what we can measure.
Worth thinking about, that's for sure. And honestly, maybe there isn't one right answer. Maybe the beauty is in asking the question, in keeping that exploration going.
I think you're right, whether you're leaning towards Jose's side, a divine creator, a universe with a purpose, or you're with Alex, natural laws, our own evolved abilities. Just engaging with these questions, that's what makes us understand ourselves and the world a little better.
Couldn't agree more.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, keep thinking about it, keep exploring. What parts of these arguments really spoke to you? What does your gut tell you about existence, about where those deep desires come from?
There's always more to uncover, to talk about, to debate. And who knows, maybe in all that exploring, each of us gets a little closer to our own truth, whatever that might be.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And on that note, thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.